I'm an old bastard. I've done this for a long time.
Guys, so nice to meet you. I am saving myself with the last episode because I wanted to make sure I interviewed you before I know everything that happens. The show is amazing. And I wanted to ask you a little bit why the approach of the one shot? Like, why was that a decision you wanted to make with this storytelling?
I mean, you have to be really careful about a one shot. We don't just do it just for the sake of doing a one shot because I want to put it on my show reel. It has to be sort of secondary from the storytelling and also from the performances. But hopefully what it does and what we hope we've achieved is that it makes an audience pay attention, and it sends an audience on a real-time immersive journey, and you are forced to watch it through the eyes of almost like a voyeuristic sort of. You're almost taking a sneak peek into these people's lives, and you shouldn't really be watching. And so that's kind of hopefully what the feeling that it gets, and it should be a feeling as opposed to, something that is like a spectacle. It just should be something that is happening, and then hopefully at the end you're like, oh, that was all done in one shot.
That was actually what it was. And also one thing that made me think about the script, Jack, was also the fact that the story happens in real time, basically, also because of the one shot format. Why was the timing of the story why was the choice of telling the story in real time, basically, instead of having flashbacks and different things, different tools?
I think that's to our real advantage. I think that it forced me to think about writing in a new way. And, I'm an old bastard. I've done this for a long time. And it encouraged me to think outside my normal box. And it encouraged me and the people who are working on this show to think about how you tell a story without taking breath. And that meant, the episode 1, we'd have probably told it to some degree with all those beats, right? To some degree, all those beats would have fitted together in a conventional episode. With episode 2, I know for a fact we'd have been cutting away to what Jamie was doing. We'd have been cutting away to what Eddie's doing. We'd have been chopping in with our lead actors to get a sense of what they're going through as they're navigating a legal process, as they are navigating a grieving process. We may have gone to Katie's family. We may have just understood things in a wider way. Actually being forced to look in a partial way, I think, encourages an audience, and this is what Phil was talking about with the one shot, to think about the show in a different way. That there's a vocabulary to TV. There's a vocabulary to how we tell TV drama, and this sort of forces an audience to think outside that normal vocabulary. And I hope it makes us more thought-provoking as a result.
I mean, for sure, it's thought-provoking. And as someone that has worked on TV for quite some time, I can only imagine how the meetings were when you're presenting this. Like, this is going to be done in one shot. Like, how challenging was to even sell the idea, because the pre-production of it must have been nuts.
Yeah.
Well, when we sold it with 3 out of the 4 scripts.
Yeah.
So we had 3 scripts written when we went into Netflix. And we showed them the scripts and we said, this is how we're doing it. Are you in?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So they knew from the start how partial we were going to be.
But also they were so, like, they could have quite easily been very, very hands-on and really, like, because it's a scary process. It's the first of its kind, certainly in TV. And, they were just incredibly supportive, and they because I think a lot of the time when it's certainly TV execs, we film a lot of stuff, a lot of content, and then we can fix it in post and we can edit it later. And we can then, that's when they step in and then certainly go, oh, we need to have that scene maybe move to there, or this to get rid of that take or whatever. With this, the rhythm's
too slow.
Exactly. We couldn't do any of that. Everything had to be done prior to me saying action on day one, because and they were great. They would come to some of the rehearsals and they'd watch it, and then they would be like, oh, maybe, this isn't working, or this pace. And it was really great for me. It wasn't ever that they were nervous, but they were also incredibly supportive and part of the collaboration, really. It was amazing.
The execs delivered 2 killer notes.
Yeah.
One was about meeting Stephen again in episode 2 at the end of the flight, which Toby Bentley did, and then Mona delivered a note about spending time with
Christina, yeah.
on the stairs in episode 4,
yeah.
and it's really interesting.
Don't tell her anything about episode 4.
Oh yeah, but
haven't seen it,
but that thing of just kind of like, it was precision bombing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what they were
yeah.
doing, and they delivered some incredible precision bombs.
Amazing. And honestly, what an amazing job you guys did. I cannot wait to see what you come up with next. This was so exciting to watch. Congratulations. Thank you again for this interview.
Thank you so much.
I feel like I need to rewatch it now and see it from a different perspective.
I haven't done anything. You're a good dad, a great dad.
He hasn't been found guilty, he's been accused.